Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the liberal loudmouth. So this morning I wake up and Tim Poole is trending on Twitter. So, being the curious cat that I am, I'm like, why is he trending? So I go in there and I find that everybody is sharing this, 3-minute clip of Tim Poole just excoriating Luke Beasley. Let me show you some of the comments. Colin Rugg says, liberal influencer Luke Beasley sits in total silence for over 3 minutes as Tim Poole excoriates him in defense of January 6 prisoners. One of the best rants I've heard in a long time, fire emoji. You don't care what the facts are. You don't care if this is unjust. You only care that the machine state has decreed you are now to be locked up. I'm not going to play the whole thing here, but I want to just give you an example of what this video shows. And if you didn't dig a little bit deeper, you would think, wow, Luke, you got your ass handed to you by this beanie-wearing little fuckboy that can't make up his mind whether he wants to be on the left or the right, if he actually wants to be a centrist or if he wants to go full MAGA. So just take a listen at how this goes.
You have.
No,
right?
I
So
haven't.
no, stop. You don't know anything about these January 6 cases. You don't know why these people are in jail. You don't know that a man is in Brooklyn right now for 3 years without charge or trial. And when Donald Trump says these people have been held for too long, you say, no, Trump is wrong. Keep them locked up. That's fucking fascist.
Okay, so I have looked for somebody who had been held for 3 years. I couldn't find them. There was a person who had been held for like 2 years without charges. That was Robert Samsel, he was the first person to actually breach the barricades that were out there, the one that was pushing the bike against the cop. He actually said on social media and other places that these politicians need to go into a wood chipper. He said that they need to kiss their kids goodbye. So aside from that guy, I don't know of anybody else that's been held for 3 years. If you know who he's referring to, please let me know in the comment section, because I couldn't find it. But to his point, I will say I agree that if somebody's been held for 3 years, that shouldn't be the case. That's bullshit. I don't care who you are. I don't even care what you did, whether it was terrorism or jaywalking. Nobody should be sitting in jail for 3 years with no charges against them. But again, I can't find them, so maybe the facts aren't on Tim Poole's side, which we'll get to in just a minute. But let me show you a little bit more of his just rampage. This dude is trembling. He's so mad right now.
Dude, you've been sitting here with no knowledge of the specifics of some of these cases. There is a man in Brooklyn right now. I'm going to say it again. No charges whatsoever brought. He's been in jail for 3 fucking years. For you to sit there and say it is good that he remains locked up is fascism. My position on January 6th has always been the people who have attacked police must go to prison. But 3 years is a fucking long time for assault on an officer. We have seen
Okay, wait. 3 years is a long time for assault on an officer. So now he's saying that there was assault on an officer, whereas he just said that the guy had been held without charges. He's saying two different things here. In one instance, he's saying that they shouldn't be held without charge for 3 years. I agree. But then he turns right around and in the same breath says, assault on an officer, 3 years in jail for that is too long. Those are two different arguments, but you wouldn't know that if you weren't paying close attention to what he actually said, which I don't think the people on Twitter actually did. But anyway, let's continue.
People on the far left, notably when they were firebombing shit all across Minnesota, 33 people murdered. And how many criminal charges did we get for this? When they firebombed a police station.
How many criminal charges did we get for BLM? Dude, there were hundreds and hundreds of them. There were people that went to jail for 5+ years. There was one person that got damages of almost $2 million because they burned, I think it was a cell phone store. There were hundreds and hundreds of people that went to jail for the BLM riots that occurred. Yeah, but what about the BLM protesters? Are we going to put them in jail? Yes, they did.
and forced the police to evacuate. On May 29th, 2020, when thousands of far leftists firebombed the White House grounds and set fire to St. John's Church and injured 100 police officers, how many fucking people went to prison for 3 years? How many of them who never showed up on that day are in prison for 20 years? Enrique Tarrio wasn't even in D.C. on January 6th, and you are saying that man who his only crime was, quote, don't leave. That's his only crime. You think he should be in prison for 20 years because you're a fascist. You don't care what the facts are. You don't care if this is unjust. You only care that the machine state has decreed you are not to be locked up. I reject it outright. The people who fought cops should go to prison. They did. It's been 3 years.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it there and go towards the end because he really just says the same thing over and over again. Let me go to the end, and this is where it generally is getting cut off in the videos on Twitter.
The prosecutors did a thing. You didn't know. You didn't read it. You didn't read the court papers. All you know is the fascist machine state told you he should be in prison, and you're saying yes to them.
And that's where they ended. But just wait. I'm going to show you a longer clip that adds more context to this conversation. I'm going to start where the last one ended up. Now watch what happens when you show the whole story.
I don't care who was on the jury. Enrique Tarrio, who was not there, should be in prison for 2 decades. Tell me this now. Why is Enrique Tarrio in prison?
Yeah, so they uncovered with him his plot to overthrow the government.
Here it comes.
Enrique Tarrio, is it?
Yeah, and his organization.
What plot? Who's
What
that?
plot? What plot? Who's
Give
that?
me some
prosecutors.
Give me some fucking data. Stop.
Here's the thing. If you've followed this case at all, you know what plot. I have documents saved on my computer about the Enrique Tarrio case and what he did and all of the things that they had unleashed. And I'm going to go over that in a little bit. But if you have even remotely looked into the Enrique Tarrio case, you would know what plot he's talking about. It is very clear that this dumbass has no clue what he's talking about, yet he's sitting there for 5 minutes just screaming at Luke's face while Luke just waits for his opportunity to speak and watch his entire life unravel in just a few minutes. It's glorious.
Stop squinting at me and saying the prosecutors did a thing. You didn't know. You didn't read it. You didn't read the court papers. All you know is the fascist machine state told you he should be in prison, and you're saying yes to them. Tell me why. Give me the data.
I understand that laws on the books have been there for a long time that I agree with. That if it's proven that you had a plan and you wanted to act on it, and then days after.
What's
the proof is
say the proof.
forward by prosecutors.
Say it.
Communications between
What communications? What did he say? What did he do?
Is this serious?
Are you going to tell me why you think Enrique Tarrio should be in prison for 20 years, or are you going to say the government decreed it?
I just explained to you.
The government said so. Is that it?
It's usually law enforcement, which I guess is a part of the government.
Government said so?
Yep.
So you can't say why.
That uncovers evidence of communications, a memo that he crafted and sent to his organization.
Saying what? That
detailed each institution of government that they were going to try to overthrow.
Here it goes.
Days later.
The look on his face. I'm going to rewind it. Let's watch it again.
Government that they were going to try to overthrow. Then just days later.
What? Wait. He's giving me like actual like things here. Let me look at my computer because I don't remember. What did he say? What did he say? What did he do?
Organization is at the Capitol.
He's typing into his computer.
I don't think we can even pull up.
What a little beta
sure
bitch.
There's any evidence of that?
Look at these two. This guy's like, I don't think there's any evidence of that of any sort. Oh God, this is gonna look really bad if there is evidence of it. But at least I look cool.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say this. The idea that Enrique Tarrio crafted a memo outlining or they 3 months featured witness evidence featured Tarrio and co-defense included videos, thousands of messages in encrypted chat groups, as well as a public message on Parler. On or before January 6th, Tarrio convened a Ministry of Self-Defense to coordinate Proud Boys leadership on January 6th. The chat showed that Tarrio, stationed in Baltimore, encouraged the Proud Boys as they attacked the Capitol. Let's figure out what that encouragement was.
Let's figure out what that encouragement was.
Are they gonna actually...
This is funny. So he goes to AP and he'll use the AP as a legitimate source while railing that, you're just listening to what they tell you. That's all you do is listen to what they tell you. Yet he's going to go to the very same source that I'm sure Luke Beasley probably would have read also to get information about what was going on, But hey, don't let facts get in the way of your fucking feelings there, Tim boy.
So here's a citation. Proud Boy and 3 other members of the far-right groups were convicted Thursday in a plot to attack the Capitol. A jury in Washington, D.C. found Tarrio and 3 lieutenants guilty of seditious conspiracy after hearing dozens of witnesses. Jurors cleared a 5th defendant, Dominic Pizzola, on a citizen charge and a significant milestone of the Justice Department, which is now secured a conspiracy. Wikipedia asserts that they did this, but there's actually nothing in the news article that actually states that is true. Well, now we got a problem. Let's try this again. Let's try a secondary source.
Let's look at another source.
Let's see. There it is. They introduced evidence that Tarrio discussed with associates a plan to have a large crowd in Washington storm government buildings in a scheme they called 1776 Returns, in which the Winter Palace was used as an apparent code for the U.S. Capitol. In a message, he said, make no mistake, we did this. Do what must be done. And he directed the Proud Boys to do it again. So the question then becomes, in the bigger picture...
So are you going to at all acknowledge that you blew up over something that I was absolutely citing fairly?
I don't think you cited it fairly.
I don't think you said it fairly. He just told you didn't know. You weren't sure because you didn't have all the facts. You didn't have all the facts, even though you spent 5 minutes berating this guy. You didn't have all the facts. And so you went to go get more facts and use the very media that you claim is fascist and is lying to you. You use that media to try and, get more facts. And you can't even acknowledge that what he was saying was accurate. And whether you disagree with it or not, that's different than what you were saying earlier, which was that you didn't read it. You don't know what the hell's going on. His beanie is too tight on his head and he needs to just give it up.
I think people should be prosecuted for engaging in plans to overthrow our government. That's kind of...
That's a very loose definition of plans to overthrow the government.
Y'all don't seem to be that informed.
Wait, Luke, respectfully, I cover a lot of protests and riots. A lot of people try to protest and riot and occupy government buildings. Do you think that qualifies as...
I want to go ahead and just pull up the 1776 returns. Okay, so this is the document. Enrique didn't craft this, as far as I know. I believe his girlfriend had given it to him. They're not sure who made it last I checked, but he did turn around and give it to all of his Proud Boy friends. I'll show you exactly what it is before I let them finish the bullshit that they were about to finish. Overall goal, fill the buildings with patriots and communicate our demands, meaning take over the buildings, to maintain control over a select few but crucial buildings in the D.C. area for a set period of time, presenting our demands in unity. See attached list of demands in the Patriot Plan. We need many people as possible inside these buildings. These are our buildings. They're just renting space. We must show our politicians we the people are in charge. Targeted buildings: Russell Senate Office Building, Dirksen Senate Office Building, Supreme Court of the United States, Hart Senate Office Building, Cannon House Office Building, Independence and First Street Southeast, Longworth House Office Building, Rayburn House Office Building, CNN, at least egg the doorway. Manpower needs: covert sleeper sets up a fake appointment, is expected to spend the day as our insider and let people inside the building. January 1 through 5 preparation. Fill the roles in charge of each building, set up appointments with representatives in the buildings to be let in. Regardless, they're required to let us in. They represent the United States. Somebody let them in the building just prior, which falls in line with this. I believe it was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Somebody please correct me if that's not correct. One of the representatives took them on a tour of the facility and walked them all through the halls. I'm pretty sure it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I could be wrong. Infiltrate, have leads and seconds, stay inside the building until called upon, execution time, scope out the entrances and exits. If possible, be in building first thing in the morning, be dressed in suits and unsuspecting. Do not look tactical at all. Have leads and seconds, open the door for the crowd to enter, which they did do. They busted down the window, went in there, walked around, opened the doors open, and all these dipshits walked through the door. We've got it on video. This isn't up for debate. It fucking happened. Facts don't care about your feelings, as dumb fuck Shapiro would always say. An escape plan for those in charge. Choose an HQ and make it inside of one of the captured buildings. See if you can get anyone with a semi to help you block traffic. Notice how they say captured buildings, captured, not occupied, not protested building. captured building. So when these idiots say, well, you know, they're just trying to protest, that's what they were doing. They're idiots and they don't know what they're talking about. Despite Tim saying for 5 fucking minutes that you don't have facts, you didn't read the indictment, you don't know what's going on, they clearly have no clue what Enrique Tarrio actually did.
Trying to, what is it, overthrow your government?
No.
Okay, good. So,
Yeah.
I mean...
but if they had a plan to take control of the government, which was this one.
If this was an actual
that
plan,
Thank you.
this was the leastly
That's a
poorly,
plan to take
most
over the government?
ridiculous plan ever. They went after people for having Lego sets of the Capitol. I mean, the level of political prosecution here. Would you even admit that there was some level of politics when it came to the prosecution of the J6ers? Would you say politics played a role in this?
Engaging with this as thoughtfully as possible, not trying to grandstand. Of course, often for very justifiable reasons, prosecutors will try to make an example of someone who, for example, tried to overthrow the government to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. I see why such a thing,
personally, I reject
categorized as
trying
sedition,
to overthrow the government.
Would be unique, political in that this all involved politics, right? And thus,
I'm sorry, I have to
message
say
has to be
this.
sent.
The Wikipedia article making those claims is not citing any actual proof that they said those things.
I just did. And there you go. Luke Beasley, and I don't know anything about this kid, okay? I say he's a kid. I'm sure he's an adult, but, you know, God, I'm 43. Everybody looks like a damn kid to me anymore. But Luke Beasley allowed Tim Poole to just word vomit for 5 minutes, say a bunch of things that he could easily just, with a few words, debunk and destroy the man's entire argument, deflate his fucking ego, deflate his outrage, and make him look like a punk. That's what Luke Beasley just did. Now, I will say that I'm cool, calm, and collected, and I have class, and I'm going to be poised, and I'm not going to raise my voice, and I'm going to let you raise your voice. This stuff isn't winning us elections, okay? So to Luke, that's the only criticism I have is you fight fire with fire, man. That's like him punching you, and the only thing you're willing to do is go like this and just dodge out of the way. You won't punch back because I'm better than that. Fuck these people. Fuck these fascist Nazi motherfuckers. I say let them have it. Let them see your rage. Let them see the passion that you actually have. You don't need to walk around being, oh, I'm just the good guy. I have moral high ground. Maybe it's not fair that I criticize him for that, but I really am sick of this attempt by people to just try and toe this like, I'm professional and I'm nice and I have class and I'm not going to do all of this. Man, fuck that shit. It hasn't won us any favors, and that time I think is over. We know that these people are Nazi fucks. Okay, we get it. We understand that. You don't fight Nazis and fascists by, oh, well, I'm just poised and proper. You don't fight them that way. You become an asshole. Like me. But maybe I'm just coming at it from my perspective, which is I'm a fucking asshole. People think I'm an asshole, so fuck it. I'm an asshole. All right, so let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you agree with my assessment that Luke Beasley destroyed Tim Poole? Or do you think Tim Poole handed Luke Beasley's ass to him? I look forward to hearing what you have to say. This is the Liberal Loudmouth, and we will catch you in the next video. Peace.